Good day, folks. It's Carl here. This is the promised recording around Unit 5, creating revenue models. You'll remember we had a problem with me accessing the class the other night, and I promised that I'll then do a recording for you, just to cover the highlights of Unit 5. Now, Unit 5 covers quite a bit of ground. There's your unit outcomes. I'm going to only cover the key aspects of this chapter. I'll highlight a couple of other things that I believe that's important to you, that you need to have a background in and need to understand. The whole idea about Unit 5 or Chapter 9 is to understand that we've had this idea, we've generated a business, and now we need to make money out of this. And we need to determine how do we make money out of this. And making money out of this, we use what is called a revenue model. So a revenue model is the overall way in which we're going to make money out of the sales of our product. The model will show us how will we generate an income, an overall income, and how will we then, from that money that we have earned, generate profits for the organization. Obviously, we know what an entrepreneur does is they create value, first year, first semester work type of thing, and value is typically, not exclusively, but typically created in terms of money. And we now at the point that we're now going to say, okay, so how do we do this? How do we turn this idea, put all this work into it, we've done all these things, how does this idea now turn into money in our bank? And that's what the revenue model is, the overarching term for what we use. There's questions that we ask. And a revenue model, there's no real right or wrong. It's more about what fits the product, and what fits the customer, what fits the market. So there's a whole host of things that we need to consider in terms of the revenue models. So a couple of questions that we would ask is, how much are my customers willing to pay? And that is a basic but a key question. You need to understand, how much is this product worth to the customer? Is this a premium type of product that the customer is prepared to really pay a lot of money for? If you think about something like watches, a Rolex, or pens, a Mont Blanc pen, a high quality, high status product that people really want to give money for? Or is this something that people don't really want to pay for, but you are going to use other revenue models? If you think about the free newspapers that get stuffed through our post boxes, these little regional newspapers, they're for free. However, the revenue model says, because they've got such a wide distribution, the customer will pay nothing, but a person that wants to put adverts in there of their products will pay you big money to place the advert. And that's then your revenue model. How many customers do I need? Do we need a lot of customers because we're making a very small profit, either percentage-wise or monetary-wise, and therefore we need a lot of customers. We need a massive turnover to make some money. Or is our product one of those products, as long as we sell a couple a year, we'll be fine? If you think of a person who's a building contractor, they don't build hundreds of houses in a year. They might build 1 or 2 houses in a year, but the premium on the house is so high that that's enough money for them to make their money. On the other side, a coffee shop is not making much money on a cup of coffee. So they need feet. They need feet to churn through the place. Newspapers need a lot to sell a lot of newspapers and a lot of advertisements in those newspapers to be able to make money. And there once again, we see there's 2 customers there. There's the person who reads the newspaper. I'm talking about newspapers that you buy now. or magazines or whatever you want to think about. And there's the person that advertises. So there's two customer bases, and basically your revenue model will then say, well, we're looking at two different ways of generating income. What can we generate through sales? How can we realistically make from this product? And you might get to that point and you might say, ooh, we're going to have to find another way of making money because we're not going to generate enough sales with this product. So what else can we do to generate some money? And then the revenue streams. I'm a great believer in revenue streams in my personal life, but also in business. Is that you shouldn't just have one revenue stream. You should have various streams that are generating money for you. So for example, you might be able to, if you're making, let's think of an example. Okay, you make furniture. So you're making wooden furniture, and you've got a workshop, and you've got a couple of people that work there, and you're selling this furniture. So you're in the furniture market. Furniture is expensive things. It's a higher level of sales. It's not a cheap product. But it's very easy for you then to take the offcuts of the wood and make toys with those. And either sell those as toys or find another outlet where you can sell the toys. So suddenly you've got two revenue streams using your same resources. And this is a thing that many companies look at, is what are the different streams that we can find our revenue. So how do we adjust this model of ours to make more income from various streams? So next up, there are various types of revenue models. I'm not going to go through the revenue models tonight. There are, your textbook, I think, lists, I've got it on the slide. Yes, they list about 11 revenue models. Have a look at those different models, read through them. But understand this, companies are typically not hung up on one single revenue model. And most companies will use a combination of models or will use more than one model. So they'll either mix two models together and design their own, or use two separate models, maybe one on each income stream or something like that. So be aware of that it's not just this is what you have and that's it and God. Then you have your revenue and cost drivers. Now the drivers of revenue are important. So what is it that determines whether we make money or not? And that's these four things that we have over here: customers, frequency, selling process, and price. So firstly, when you're looking at revenue models and revenue drivers, you've got to look at these four things because they are what will determine whether you're going to make revenue or not. So the first thing that you've got to look at is your customers. Who are your customers? And how many customers will come to your product? How many customers will you attract? I spoke about this earlier. Are you a product that attracts a lot of feet? In other words, you need lots of customers, or are you a Ferrari dealer that needs a few customers? And you may also, if you think about the Ferrari, there's a lot of people that walk through the door, but there's few people that buy. Is that your customer? Is that how you're going to treat your customer? Is that the type of customer you're looking for? Or are you looking for the volume? Every single person buys one. What's the frequency? So I spoke about a building contractor earlier. People buy a house not every 6 months, not every year, not every 5 years, every 10 years. Some people buy a house once in their life and they stay there basically for the rest of their lives. But I think on the average, people stay in 3 or 4 houses in their lifetime. If you a building contractor, chances are you're going to deal once with your customer. If you're lucky, they're going to refer a couple of other people to you, but that's it. You've got one shot at this. A car dealership, I'm talking not Ferraris now, talking about other cars, normal commercial cars. You will find that if you're a good dealer, you may have people coming back to you if there's brand loyalty and so on, and you'll deal with the same customer many times. If you have a takeaway restaurant or a restaurant for that matter, you might see your customer every week, every second week, once a month. If you're the corner shop, you might see your customer daily. But what is the frequency that your customer is going to buy the product? How many times are you going to make money out of this? And then we go back to our revenue models. Could we do a subscription model? So instead of selling a product to a customer, we do a subscription model. And we see this a lot these days with apps, which you obviously have an interest in, and computer programs, where rather than allowing you to buy the program once off, they're charging you a monthly fee. Why? Because that increases the frequency of the revenue. So they can charge you, say, 500 Rand for the app once off, or they can charge you 50 Rands a month. 6 months, you've got 500 Rand. In a year, you have 1,000 Rands and then some. So understand how that frequency can be manipulated by using certain techniques. And what is your selling process? How do you sell the product? Is it something that you have a lot of time to sell? So you've a lot of time, you see the customer, you can talk to the customer, you've got time to speak to the customer, or do you never see your customer? If you're selling dishwashing liquid, you're never seeing your customer. You're never speaking to your customer. You've got some advertisements out there and word of mouth, and that's it. If you a waiter, you are selling directly to your customer, and every single customer that you buy, that buys from you, you are actually speaking to, and you have an opportunity to sell to every single customer. Those of you that have done waitering would understand upselling, where you say, "Oh, and would you like some drinks? Oh, and can I bring you some dessert with that? Oh, and how about you have a starter before I bring you your main course, etc." Because you have a chance to interact with every single customer. And then lastly, price. What is your pricing model? Where does your price fit in to the bigger picture? Is your price higher than your competitor? Is it the same as your competitor? How do we deal with this whole thing about price? And each product is individual. Each product would have a different pricing strategy. But you need to look at how does the price drive the revenue. So remember, each one of these things, customers, frequency, selling process, and price, you need to see the influence that this has on revenue and how you can use this to your advantage to drive your revenue, to push the revenue, to maximize it. How do we do this? Well, simply by hypothesis and hypothesis testing. We need to come up with scenarios. We need to think about ways and say, so how my customer, who is my customer? How's my customer going to work? How regularly are they going to buy? What's the frequency? What's my selling? And by playing around with those ideas, come up with a combination of these factors. Remember, these are not like what we were talking about previously with revenue models, where you might have a model or a combination of one or two models. Revenue drivers, all four of those revenue drivers are going to play a role. You need to determine how do you use those revenue drivers to actually drive your revenue. Then we get to your pricing strategies. So in many cases, when entrepreneurs start and they have a product and they bring the product on the table, they're not sure on what should I charge. What is this product worth? The danger is I'm going to ask too much for the product, and customers are not going to frequent my product. Or I'm going to ask too little, and I'm going to leave money on the table. So you've got to have a look at what do I do? How do I do that? And there's some pricing strategies that we can use. Competition is obviously, between competition and your planning, those are key things that you need to take into considering. There's no real right way to determine a pricing strategy. They will change in any case. Your price will change in any case as the economy changes, as the demand changes, as your product goes through its life cycle. Your price. but there are certain strategies that we can use. Obviously, a product, you all know, a product goes through a certain life cycle, and in different stages of the life cycle, you will have different pricing strategies. But let's have a look at the pricing strategies that you can use. Now, once again, pricing strategies is something where they sometimes quite difficult to mix. You can mix some of them, but pricing strategy is more a question of determining a pricing strategy, maybe combining it with one other. But pricing strategy, and you'll see now as I explain them, it's not a shotgun approach. You can't use all of them. You need to choose, and you need to determine why you're choosing that, and then stick to your guns. So let's have a look at the pricing strategies. So competition-led pricing, that's simply looking at, so what do other people charge for this product? I'll also charge it. And this would typically be where you have a product that you're coming into the market with a product that you are, and I hesitate to use the word, but it's probably the best word for this, you're copycatting. So there's other people that are doing this. And you've decided, well, there is still a gap in the market. There's either a segment that's not being addressed by the other competitors in the market, or my product is slightly different, or my coffee shop is more accessible to the people in this office building because I've now been able to rent a space on the ground floor of this building. But there is a coffee shop across the road, and I've got to be cognizant of what do they charge, because my people, my customers in the building can easily walk through the foyer and walk across the street. So you have to be led by them. Customer-led pricing. What's the customer prepared to pay? And literally, in the initial phases, you do a survey of customers and ask them, what are you prepared to pay? I had a person the other day in a Facebook group for the we have a little house out on the west coast in Azefontein, and somebody was saying on that group, I want to start a pool cleaning service in Azefontein. What would people be prepared to pay per month for a pool cleaning service? And that's nothing else than customer-led pricing. I can tell you now, the person starting that pool company doesn't know that this is what they're busy doing, that it's a customer-led pricing strategy that they're following. But that's what they're following in real life, because they're asking the customer, what are you prepared to pay? And they're going to look through all the pricing and say, well, sure, here's a person that's prepared to say they'll pay 500 Rand a month. Here's another person that's 80. But if I look at the average, it's around 250. So yeah, maybe I should ask 250, 350. Let's see how it goes. Maybe do an introductory offer, which is one of the things we're going to look at now. And that's one of the things you can combine with. So you can have a customer-led pricing, but I'll do an introductory offer if you sign, and I'm going to skip to that right now. So if you sign up now, your first 6 months, I'll only charge you 250 Rand. And from then, it'll be 350 Rand, which is the normal price. If you sign up month to month, then you're going to pay 350 from day one. Loss leaders. So loss leaders are, we only use that when we've got a number of products. We sell one product at a below cost price or a very, very cheap price, basically a loss, because we want to have the customer come to us. Your large retailers all do this. When you see really good prices, you say, wow, look at that TV. That TV is so cheap, so cheap. And then you see that, okay, there's only 10 available. They're selling it at a loss because they want to get you in the shop, because once you're in the shop, then you'll buy other stuff. Black Friday basically works on that principle. But normally, if you see Jacob's Coffee at a really good price, chances are you're going to go to that shop, but you're not going to walk out only with a Jacob's Coffee. You're going to walk out with other things. They've run a loss leader strategy on you. Skimming. Price skimming happens right at the beginning. I always want to say it's the opposite from an introductory offer. And this is where you've got a unique product that nobody else can beat, and you can ask a premium for this product. You know, in time, you're going to have to drop your price, but we're going to while we have the opportunity, we're going to take a lot of profit on this product. Whenever a new Apple phone, iPhone, is introduced, you will find that you can buy them and they quite at a premium, or you can sign a contract quite at a premium. There's not many available, but you will be the first one to have that iPhone. So they'll charge you more to give you that month or two of glory. And that's price skimming. They're simply skimming the price. And sometimes it's also a product that goes into a market where a highly competitive market. And if you own this product and you can use this product in your business, you can outperform your competitors. Then you are prepared to pay a premium, because this machine can make things so much faster than your competitors. And that'll also be a skimming. Psychological pricing, we see that daily. It creates the illusion that you're paying less for a product. Every product that's got a 99 at the end is a psychological pricing, because it's not 1,000 rands, it's 999 rand. And yes, psychologically, that does actually make a difference. And you're sitting there now, I can imagine, as I many times do, and say, yeah, sure. I'm looking at 999 and I say, okay, so it's 1,000 rands. Many studies have shown that although we say we equate that to 1,000 rands, psychologically, if there's a product for 999 and there's a product for 1,001, we're always going to go for the 999, even when it's slightly less quality, and we realize that. Psychologically, it just messes with our minds. So it's any strategy that makes you think it's cheaper. Bundle pricing is also one that plays hand in hand with psychological pricing, but we'll get to that. Fair pricing, and this is probably the silver bullet. This is probably where you want to be. This is the price where you say, I'm making enough money, I can make a living by selling my product at this price, and I'm happy that my product sells at this price, and my customers will be happy with my product at this price. And the customer says exactly the same. The customer says, my supplier is a fair person, they're giving me a product that I need at a good price, and at a price where I'm happy with the price that I'm paying. The price is not excessive. I'm paying for what the product is worth to me, and everybody's quite happy and comfortable around that. And I think that's the last one, is bundled pricing. And this is where we bundle things together, buy one, get one free. It's typically not free. It's been factored into the price. And in bundled pricing, depending on who you look, it's also those, you buy 25 coffee pods and I'll give you a coffee machine for free. Or you sign a contract and I'll give you the cell phone for free. It's all in there, it's all in the price. But because it's bundled pricing, people think it's a better deal, and it goes towards that whole psychological pricing. Guys, thanks. I hope this is of some help. When you get your assignment, you'll find that these issues come up in the second assignment. And these are important issues that you need to look at and need to make decisions around. I hope that the overview that I've given you casts some light and gives you some direction. And please remember to go back to the textbook. As always with these sessions, there's a heck of a lot more in the textbook than what we can cover in these sessions. Thanks, guys. And please don't forget, send me an email, ask me your questions. I'm more than happy to answer. Cheers, guys.